All right, let me go to Fox News contributor Jonah Goldberg. He is also the author of the book Liberal Fascism. Wow, wild the hate there. Now it in paperback. Hi.
Good to be here.
How are you doing, Jonah?
I'm doing okay. I have my Clavern meeting in a minute, so I don't have a lot of time. But, they're making an exception. They're allowing guys named Goldberg into the Klan now.
Wow.
Really? We're a united front. We haters on the right.
Do they know?
Well, they give me a pass.
Okay. So Jonah, I contend this is not about it's not about us who they're attacking. It is about stifling people, scaring them, keeping them, you know, on their couch. People watching television and going, oh, I don't want that. I mean, I'm not an extremist, or I'm not this, or I'm not, and just keeping you on your couch.
Well, I think that's right. I think first of all, it's important to point out that there's nothing new to this. This has been going on. The left and the mainstream liberalism have been doing this for a very long time. Daniel Shore, when he was the chief correspondent on the CBS Evening News, went on the air on CBS News when CBS News was a big deal, not like it's a shopping network now or something, but
almost.
And he said that Barry Goldwater's planned vacation in Europe was really an effort to link up with Nazi elements in Hitler's stomping ground so they could coordinate the fall campaign. When Newt Gingrich won Congress in 1994, you had prominent members of the Congressional Black Caucus and prominent members of the Democratic Party openly accusing the Republicans of committing genocide. You had, one of my favorite ones was when Charlie Rangel said that Hitler wasn't even talking about doing things like this. We're talking about the contract with America.
He was busy working on the ovens.
I mean, Hitler was in fact not talking about zero-based budgeting and term-limiting committee chairs, like the contract with America was. But
that's weird.
And this idea that Krugman has that the right is undifferentiated from the black helicopter crowd, it takes a lot of gall. First of all, Krugman has been conspiratorial about Bush trying to steal elections with voting machines.
Oh, yeah.
But moreover, the Democratic Party under Bush became truly undifferentiated from the crazed left-wing blogosphere. You had them openly, the leaders of the Democrats in the Congress, openly embracing Michael Moore, who was a total loon on all of these things.
Michael Moore, just put up the screen on Michael Moore. Michael Moore, this is what he said about Americans. They are possibly the dumbest people on the planet, enthralled to conniving, thieving, smug, expletive. We Americans suffer from enforced ignorance. We don't know anything about what's happening outside our country. Our stupidity is embarrassing. That's the guy who they put in the presidential box next to
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, and again, we can do all this all day long about the history of this stuff. Lee Harvey Oswald, the man who assassinated JFK, was a committed Marxist who earlier had wanted to kill a true right-wing general, but immediately he was hailed as this sort of paragon of right-wing hate. It is incredibly cynical when it's not just plain asinine.
Help me out with this. You know the guy who went into the Holocaust Museum?
Yes. Not personally.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be here.
Yes, that's right.
These are some of his views. Help me out. Right or left? Dissolve Israel, hate the Jews.
You hear that kind of stuff at answer rallies all the time.
George Bush is behind 9/11.
Yeah. Michael Moore, Rosie O'Donnell.
Okay. Hates Bill O'Reilly. I think that's both.
Yeah. Let's be ecumenical about that.
I mean, really. Come on. Then threats to bomb the Weekly Standard. Is that a left or right issue?
Well, National Review, we talk about that sometimes.
Right. Hates neocons. Hates the Fed. That one is kind of, everybody now. Targeting Fox News. Oh, that's definitely the Republican Party. And hates blacks.
Right.
This is what this guy believed.
Right.
This is what he believed. This isn't a guy who was from the right. And yet, somehow or another, they can say with a straight face, he was a right-wing extremist.
Right, and we shouldn't say, there's some...
I don't think he's a left-wing.
Right,
he's a crazy guy.
He's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yes.
Right, and what he was doing, and the similarities actually with Nazism are very similar, is that what his North Star, his abiding passion, was hatred of Jews. And everything else was a rationalization.
So let me go back to people wanting to hate us. My theory, and I have a book out next week called Common Sense, and it is inspired by Thomas Paine, and it is, what is the problem in America? The biggest problem in America is Republicans and Democrats are taught to hate each other. We are taught to think that the other side is an evil villain. There are evil villains on both sides. There are evil villains in the middle.
Right.
There are evil villains out there. But we're taught to hate each other. I think this is just yet another ploy to keep people who are not used to protesting or anything else, we're uncomfortable as conservatives. They don't do that. I mean, you got a lot of work and drive and park and hold a sign. So you got all that going for you. So keep you at home, keep you afraid, and also keep fueling the arguing back and forth.
I think it's a big part of it. I think it's one of these things.
What is left?
Well, I mean, I think
real intellectual dishonesty, or they really believe it?
I think there's some people who honestly believe it on both sides, who just think the other side are just a bunch of evil people. I think that one of the things that I love about conservatism is that it is only political conservatism, rightly understood, is that it's only a partial philosophy of life. Your politics aren't a window to your soul.
Yeah.
But the problem is that when you live in an age where everything has to be political and you have someone who disagrees, then all of a sudden it is a reflection on your soul, at least according to one guy or the other.
That's what really gets me here is we're not talking about any real issues. We've done this with absolutely everything in our life. And it's only getting worse as we take over companies and take over banks. I heard people today talking about AIG and whether they should pay off, if they should, cover the insurance for the lost luggage and everything else. In the end game, that's political because now they're a part of the government. It's your tax dollars.
Right.
So again, every aspect of our life is going to be left, right, Republican, Democrat.
Right. And also, we're taught in a way in the culture that we associate sort of our identity, our self-esteem in politics, with what is political, that we are our causes. And it is an incredibly pernicious thing. I mean, you and I probably both blame the progressive left for starting this game, but there are people who do it on the right as well.
And they're progressives on the right.
Yeah. But it's this idea that everyone's got to be on board. The most fascistic, horrible thing that is said in American life daily, other than the truly evil stuff, but that is daily said as a mainstream, wonderful, idealistic thing is, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And the assumption there, at least by most of the people who say it on college campuses, is that you have to agree with us on everything. You can't bow out of the cause. You can't have your own concerns, your own pursuits. There are no safe harbors from politics. And when politics become this, when Hillary Clinton talks about the politics of meaning, that we have to get our meaning, not from our souls, our church, or our family, but from politics, then you're opening up a realm of a vision of life which says that if you disagree with me on politics, if you disagree with me on political philosophy or ideology, you're a heretic. You're outside, decent life. And then you get this kind of crazy talk that we get from Krugman and others.
And that leads to, last time that happened, Dark Ages.
Yeah, well.
Dark Ages. When politics becomes faith and religion.
That's right.
It's Dark Ages.
I'm not a crook.